Zara has really stepped up their fragrance game, and in this video I'll review Lush Vetiver, Spell Caramel, Tender Amber and Tobacco Sublime. Now I'll buy fragrances so you don't have to, and these videos take quite some time to do, so I would highly appreciate a like on this video, thank you, and make sure you hit that subscribe. I would also love to know how you feel about these 4 fragrances, so make sure you put that in the comments. According to the box, the notes in Lush Vetiver are bergamot, grapefruit, pepper, saffron, oak, patchouli, vetiver, leather and musk. The first thing to hit my nose is an initial dose of citrus, and right behind it, vetiver. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of super heavy, super green vetiver focused fragrances, and I'm happy that this is not that. This opens up with a dose of freshness that has a bit of that classic vetiver scent, but it's not of the super green or super heavy kind. This is vetiver done in quite a mass appealing and easy to wear kind of way. And if you are a bit like me in that you prefer vetiver scents that are not super green or super heavy, then you might enjoy this. There's a slight hint, just a slight hint of bitterness to the citrus in the opening, but that goes away quite quickly. When Lush Vetiver starts to dry down, that initial dose of freshness and green turns into something very smooth and very soft. And this, to my nose, turns into something that is woody first, with what could be the saffron giving it a layer of something extra in a nice way. I've noticed something with a lot of the newer Zara fragrances that I bought, and that is that they really go quite quickly from the opening to the dry down. So while this has a mid, it really feels like it goes quite quickly from the opening to the dry down. To sum it up, Lush Vetiver opens up with a dose of citrusy freshness and an easy to like kind of vetiver. And as it dries down, this turns into something that to my nose is primarily woody with soft freshness and a bit of patchouli in the background. I think it's the saffron giving the whole thing something extra, another layer of something that smells really nice. This is supposed to have tobacco in it, but I really can't pick up on it. This for about 30 bucks is nice, and this could easily have been released by another designer brand. It does smell a bit familiar, it's nothing revolutionary, but it smells nice. So who is Lush Vetiver for? If you enjoy fresh and woody fragrances, and if you enjoy the scent of vetiver, then this is almost like a no-brainer if you want a cheapie that just works. Don't expect something revolutionary though. So what about usage? This is something you spray on when you want a fresh, woody and smooth scent on you. I feel this worked throughout the year to pretty much any occasion, even though I do feel this one will shine the most during fall and summer. To me, this is one of those sort of a dumb reach fragrances that I can spray on for pretty much anything. So what about performance? So when I've tried this one out, it does feel, it's not bad, but it's definitely not strong or beast mode in any way. The projection is about average, longevity though is quite good for being a Zara, and this actually outperforms a lot of Zara fragrances I have. Do not, however, expect this one to be a strong one. So let's move on to Zara Spell Caramel. According to the box, the notes in Spell Caramel are orange sanguina, ginger, davana, caramel, tobacco, amber and sandalwood. So the opening of this is pretty much like everything all at once. I get a prominent dose of spiciness and freshness right in the opening, and there's also sweetness and a bit of vanilla in the opening. The opening is not a bad one, but it's not that good either, and it does feel a bit messy. But give it a few minutes and it does become a bit better. This follows the sort of the same pattern as quite a few of my other Zara fragrances, in that you really don't have to wait that long for the dry down. As it dries down, that initial dose of vanilla and sweetness gets dialed up a lot stronger, and it smells like a combo of vanilla and caramel, where that sweetness almost has a balsamic and smooth kind of feel to it. There are slightly smoky undertones in the dry down, which is a nice thing, but I would have loved for that to be a bit more intense. The opening to me is not that impressive, and it's not until the dry down that this thing becomes its best. But even at its best, there's something missing, and there's too much of something else. I don't know what it is. It's not bad. Something just feels a bit off, and that comes from someone who usually absolutely loves caramel-ish and sweet kind of scents. I believe this is a fragrance you will think is fantastic or absolutely dislike. So what about the usage? I believe this is more of a casual scent than anything else, and I would not recommend this to formal events or work. When it comes to performance, this has about average projection and sort of a decent longevity. So let's move on to Zara Tender Amber. According to the box, the notes in Tender Amber are tropical fruits, blackcurrant, amber, cedarwood, vanilla and sandalwood. This thing right here pretty much goes straight into a big dose of fruity sweetness and something fresh. No idea where that freshness is coming from, but I like it. It definitely has a tropical fruitiness to it with quite a prominent dose of blackcurrant. This is good straight away, and as it dries down, its fruitiness is getting a bit softer, sort of diffused, and it's joined by a floral touch. Tender Amber is supposed to have rose in it, but the only thing I'm getting is a softish kind of tuberose and everything being a bit ambery. The name is Tender Amber and its amberiness is indeed tender. Don't expect a loud kind of amberiness here. Do expect a big dose of fruity sweetness with a floral touch and everything being slightly ambery. Zara Tender Amber in a way reminds me of one of my favorite fruity sweet scents, Tiziana, Terenzi, Kirke. But Tender Amber feels less fruity and more floral with a different kind of floral touch. It also lacks the muskiness of Kirke. So who is this fragrance for? You really need to like fruity sweet fragrances in order to enjoy this. And you can't be allergic to a touch of florals, because this at its core is exactly that. If you like fruity sweet fragrances like Kirke, then you will most likely enjoy Tender Amber as long as you think you would enjoy its floral side. So when it comes to usage, this to me is more of a casual kind of scent than anything else, and something you spray on when you go out or for special occasions. I do feel you can use Tender Amber throughout the year, but I would probably not use it on very warm days. Performance is actually pretty good and it stays on my skin for quite some time. And projection is definitely above average for at least 2-3 hours. So let's move on to Zara Tobacco Sublime. According to the box, the notes in Tobacco Sublime are bergamot, sage, pepper, iris, patchouli, vanilla, amber and tobacco. As soon as you spray it on, you get what I feel is the world's quickest dose of freshness. That initial dose of freshness is pretty much gone in like 30 seconds. Together with a dose of tobacco. That initial dose of freshness pretty much disappears in less than a minute, and what's left is quite a prominent dose of tobacco. That tobacco is prominent but of the soft kind, and with it soft woodiness. So basically what you get in the opening is a very soft kind of tobacco with woodiness, and the opening smells good. As it dries down, the tobacco gets even softer, and it's pretty much all about the woodiness and tobacco with the addition of soft powderiness and a very smooth kind of vanilla. The vanilla in the dry down smells great, and that trio of woodiness, tobacco and vanilla is honestly awesome. The dry down is also ambery and sweet in a very subtle way though. And subtle is actually a very good word to describe Tobacco Sublime, because pretty much everything about it is subtle. And I really want to stress that, because I don't want you to expect this to be a super rich, heavy kind of tobacco scent. This is more of a soft and intimate kind of scent. I like it though, but I would have loved for it to actually have been a bit more on the sort of a rich and stronger side. This is a tobacco scent you can overspray without actually overspraying, if that makes sense. And this Tobacco Sublime almost smells like a mix of Prada Luna Rossa Black and Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé without Luna Rossa Black sort of a muskiness and without Givenchy Gentleman Reserve Privé's booziness and with something else. So what about usage? Because this is such a soft mix of woodiness, vanilla and tobacco, I feel you can use this to pretty much any occasion throughout the year. Wear it to work, when you are going out, when you are going on a date, to formal events, whenever, wherever, but only when you want to wear something that doesn't project in a strong way. So this is more of an intimate kind of scent, which leads me to the performance. This is about average, almost slightly below average. Zara Tobacco Sublime is not a strong fragrance and it doesn't last a long time, at least on my skin, so make sure you spray it properly. So I'm going to rank these, but before I do that, I just gotta say that it feels like Zara once again have stepped up the game. It feels like they are pretty much improving with every new mini collection that I buy. And once again, I would love to know which of these is your favorite and your thoughts on these, so make sure you put that in the comments. So on fourth place, and my least favorite out of these four, is Zara Spell Caramel. On third place is Zara Lush Vetiver. I like it, I will definitely use it, but it's the one out of these three that feels the most familiar and less special. Second place was tough though, because I really enjoy that Tiziana Terenzi Kirke-ish fruity sweetness of Tender Amber. And Tender Amber's performance is probably the very best out of these four. And I really enjoy Tobacco Sublime. It's almost like a toss-up between these two, but I am going to go with Tobacco Sublime. This for 30 bucks, if you like the notes, is pretty much like a no-brainer. And I'm actually going to say the same thing about Tender Amber. If you like this kind of scent, then you will most likely enjoy it. So Tobacco Sublime, please do drop a like on this video. Thank you, I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell, make sure you check out the videos over there. Oh yes, and I'll see you in the next one.